5 things you're eating that quietly destroy muscle after 60. Vitago health tips. Have you ever had one of those mornings where something just felt off? You weren't in pain. Nothing hurt. But when you stood up from your chair or bent down to tie your shoelaces, your legs just felt heavier than usual, like moving through water. It's subtle. You might pause for a second and wonder, was I always this slow getting up? If you felt that quiet shift, you're not alone. I remember my neighbor Mary. She's 72 and lives just across the street. Sharp as a tack, full of energy. Every morning for years, Mary started her day the same way. A tall glass of fresh orange juice, a slice of toast, and a quick walk around the block. She believed in keeping her habits light and healthy. But recently, she told me something that really stuck with me. She said, "I don't feel sick, but it's like my legs don't belong to me anymore. I used to walk a mile, no problem. Now I get tired halfway down the street." Her doctor ran tests, nothing alarming. No arthritis, no injury, just slower movements, less energy, and a strange weakness creeping in. This kind of quiet change can go unnoticed for years, until one day, you realize that standing up from your favorite chair feels like climbing a hill. You're not just getting older. What's really happening is something called sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss. After the age of 50, we lose about 1 to 2% of our muscle each year. It sneaks up on you, and if you're not actively fighting back, it can lead to weakness, instability, and a higher risk of falls, the very thing that can rob us of independence. But here's the part most people don't know. Some of the most common, everyday foods, the things sitting in your kitchen right now, might be making this worse. They don't come with warning labels. They might even be foods you've always thought of as healthy. In today's video, we're going to talk about 5 foods that may be quietly destroying your muscle strength after 60. But don't worry, we're not here to make you throw everything out of your fridge. You'll also learn what to swap in, so you can continue enjoying your meals while feeding your muscles the strength they deserve. Let's start with something simple, something that feels harmless, refreshing even. A glass of orange juice. Yes, that sweet, golden drink that many of us have been told is a good source of vitamin C, especially first thing in the morning. Mary drank it every single day, believing it helped her stay healthy and energized. But here's what's really happening in your body when you drink fruit juice, especially orange juice. Now, let me be clear. Oranges themselves, the whole fruit, are a wonderful source of vitamin C, fiber, and antioxidants. But once we squeeze out the juice and leave the pulp behind, something important goes missing, the fiber. And that makes a world of difference, especially when it comes to your muscles. You see, fiber acts like a gentle brake on sugar. It slows down how quickly sugar gets absorbed into your bloodstream. When you drink juice without the fiber, it's like stepping on the gas. That sugar rushes into your system in seconds, and your body, in defense, sends out a wave of insulin to try and manage it. Over time, that constant sugar surge, followed by the insulin crash, becomes a dangerous cycle. It may feel subtle, a bit of fatigue, some foggy thinking after breakfast, but inside, inflammation is starting to brew. And inflammation is one of the top enemies of your muscle health. When your blood sugar swings wildly, your body goes into protection mode. Instead of focusing on building and repairing muscle, it's too busy dealing with the sugar spike. The insulin interferes with how your body uses protein, meaning even if you're eating enough eggs, chicken, or beans, those nutrients may never actually reach your muscles where they're needed most. It's like trying to build a house during a storm. The materials are there, but the conditions aren't right for any progress. What's more, fruit juice, especially orange juice, contains a type of sugar called fructose. Unlike glucose, which muscles can use for energy, fructose is processed mainly in the liver. And when there's too much of it, the liver starts converting it into fat. That fat can build up, not just around your waistline, but in your liver too, leading to a condition called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is surprisingly common in older adults. But even more concerning, chronic inflammation caused by excess fructose doesn't just affect your liver. It seeps into your muscles, joints, and connective tissues. Your recovery slows, your energy dips, and your muscles, especially in your legs and core, become less responsive, less able to absorb the nutrients they need to stay strong. And let's not forget one more sneaky thing about juice. Unlike whole fruit, which fills you up with fiber, juice doesn't satisfy your hunger for long. It goes down easy, gives you a quick burst of energy, and then leaves you reaching for a snack an hour later. Usually something sweet or carb-heavy, and the cycle repeats. Now, you might be wondering, but I've been drinking juice for years. And yes, that's the tricky part. It doesn't cause an immediate problem. It's the slow build-up. Like Mary, you might wake up one day and realize walking to the mailbox feels like a chore. That morning glass of juice didn't cause it all, of course, but it certainly didn't help. So what's the better option? You don't have to give up the taste you love. If you enjoy citrus in the morning, try blending a smoothie with whole fruit, orange segments, a few strawberries, a banana. Keep the pulp, the peel when possible. Add some chia seeds, a handful of spinach, maybe a scoop of protein powder. Now you've turned your sweet drink into a muscle-friendly breakfast. You can also sip on warm lemon water or herbal teas, like ginger or peppermint, that support digestion and reduce inflammation. These small swaps can help stabilize your blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and support your muscle recovery all at once. And if you've been doing this already, tell me in the comments. Just type the number 1 if you've ever swapped juice for a smoothie or tea. I read every comment, and I'd love to hear your tips and experiences. Because here's the truth. One small change, like skipping the juice, can ripple into something bigger. Stronger mornings, more energy, a longer walk than yesterday. That's how strength returns, quietly, just like it was taken. Speaking of breakfast, let's talk about another staple that shows up on countless kitchen tables, especially in the morning: white bread. Now, I know what you might be thinking. It's just toast. What harm could it possibly do? But let me tell you a story. My friend Robert, 74, used to start every day the same way. 2 slices of soft white toast, a little butter, maybe a smear of jam, and a cup of coffee. It was his routine for over 40 years. Comfort food, he used to call it. I don't need much, just something light to start the day. But as time went on, Robert noticed his legs felt a little less stable when he climbed the steps to his porch. He started avoiding the grocery store, not because he didn't enjoy it, but because standing in line made his knees tremble. When he finally went to his doctor, the test results were clear. No major illness, no joint damage, just muscle loss, slow, steady, and completely preventable. That's when I asked Robert about his meals. And there it was, a perfect example of a well-intentioned habit slowly draining his strength. You see, white bread and other refined grains, like regular pasta, cookies, pastries, and crackers, are made from flour that's been stripped of its natural nutrients. During processing, the fiber, vitamins, and minerals are removed, leaving behind a soft, starchy product that your body digests in minutes. The result? Just like with juice, you get a rapid spike in blood sugar, followed by a crash. And over time, those sugar surges add up, leading to chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, and increased fat storage instead of muscle development. Even worse, when your insulin levels are constantly elevated, your body becomes less efficient at absorbing amino acids, the building blocks of muscle. So even if Robert was getting protein later in the day, his breakfast was setting the stage for failure. His body was too distracted trying to manage sugar levels to properly repair or grow muscle tissue. And the effects go beyond just blood sugar. That roller coaster also impacts your joints. As your muscles weaken, your joints have to work harder to support your body, especially your knees, hips, and lower back. Add in a few extra pounds from all those empty carbs, and suddenly the pain becomes more than just a nuisance. It becomes a limitation. Here's the thing. It's not about giving up bread entirely. It's about upgrading it. When Robert switched from white bread to a hearty slice of sprouted grain or rye toast, something amazing happened. Not overnight, of course, but gradually. He told me, "I feel steadier. I walk a bit further. I don't need to hold onto the railing as often." Why? Because those whole grain breads still have their fiber and nutrients intact. They digest more slowly, keep your blood sugar steady, and support your muscle health rather than sabotage it. Add a protein source like a boiled egg, a little almond butter, or some avocado. And now you've got a breakfast that fuels you instead of draining you. Pasta lover? You don't have to say goodbye to spaghetti. Just try versions made from lentils, chickpeas, or quinoa. These alternatives are not only lower on the glycemic index, but also packed with protein and minerals that your muscles crave. Let's be honest, change isn't always easy. That first bite of hearty whole grain bread might not feel as soft and familiar, but give it time. Your body and your legs will thank you. So if toast or crackers, or even that bagel has been a regular guest at your table, you're not alone. I'd love to know. Type the number 2 in the comments if refined grains have been part of your routine. There's no shame in it. This is a journey, and we're walking it together. And speaking of walking, in our next section, we'll talk about a group of foods that many people rely on for quick protein and flavor. But as we're about to see, not all proteins are created equal. Let's pick up where we left off. After Robert made a few smart swaps at breakfast, whole grain toast, protein-packed smoothies instead of juice, he was already starting to feel a difference. His steps were a bit more confident, and he wasn't getting winded so quickly. But then he asked me a question that a lot of folks ask when they're trying to eat better. What about lunch? I still need something quick. And that's where we hit our next muscle sabotaging culprit, processed meats. You know the ones: ham slices, salami, deli turkey, bacon, hot dogs, sausages. They're fast, they're flavorful, and they've been around for decades. Robert used to say, "I've been eating turkey sandwiches since I was 20, and I'm still here." That's true. But here's what changed: his body's ability to deal with the ingredients inside those meats. Processed meats are convenient. I'll give them that. When you don't feel like cooking or when you're tired, it's easy to open the fridge, grab a few slices, pop them between 2 slices of bread, and call it a meal. But hidden inside those pink slices are compounds that your muscles really don't like. Let's start with nitrates and nitrites, the preservatives that give processed meats their color, flavor, and long shelf life. These chemicals, once inside your body, can create oxidative stress. Imagine rust forming on metal. That's what oxidative stress does to your cells. It breaks things down, including muscle fibers. Now, in our younger years, our bodies could manage a bit of damage here and there. We had more muscle to spare, better circulation, quicker recovery. But after 60, every little bit of stress adds up. And for your muscles, that means slower repair, increased fatigue, and more vulnerability to injuries. And there's more. Processed meats are often loaded with sodium, which pulls water out of your cells and can lead to dehydration, another enemy of muscle function. Dehydrated muscles are more prone to cramping, weakness, and poor performance. They're also high in saturated fats, which contribute to chronic low-grade inflammation. Again, this word comes up: inflammation. It's the common thread in every food that weakens your body slowly, silently. When inflammation is always present, your body spends its energy fighting fires instead of building strength. I saw it clearly with Robert. He had swapped out sugary breakfasts, yes, but lunch was still a ham sandwich, sometimes with chips and maybe a cookie. By 3 o'clock, he felt tired and stiff, and often napped in his recliner instead of walking like he used to. So we made a new plan. I showed him how to prep grilled chicken breast in batches, just seasoned with herbs and olive oil, sliced and stored for easy use. He also started using canned wild-caught salmon or tuna, rinsed to lower the sodium. For a vegetarian option, he tried chickpea salad with lemon and parsley on whole grain crackers. The result? More energy in the afternoon, better sleep, and fewer aches in his legs. Now, I know not everyone has time or energy to cook every day, especially if you live alone or you're caring for a spouse. But here's a trick: cook once, eat twice. Make extra protein at dinner: grilled tofu, baked fish, roasted turkey, and save half for lunch the next day. That way, you still have convenience, but without the muscle damage. And I'd love to hear from you. Do you eat lunch meats or sausages regularly? If so, type the number 3 in the comments. I promise, no judgment, just awareness, because every small shift makes a big difference. Let me introduce you to someone special: Linda, 70 years old, retired nurse, and one of the warmest people I know. She's the kind of neighbor who always has a smile, always checks in, and always has something cooking in her kitchen. But in recent years, Linda had a habit that was quietly working against her, even though it didn't seem like much at the time. You see, Linda was a snacker. After retirement, with more time at home, she found herself reaching for little comforts throughout the day. A frozen pizza here, a bag of potato chips there, the occasional drive-through burger on the way home from her book club. "It's just a treat," she'd say. "I'm not overdoing it." But over time, Linda started to notice something wasn't quite right. Her legs felt heavier in the evenings. She couldn't stand at the stove for long without needing to sit. Her morning walks became shorter and slower. "I don't understand," she told me once. "I'm not even eating that much. Why do I feel like I'm slowing down so quickly?" The answer was in the oil. Fast food and processed snacks are full of what we call industrial seed oils, like soybean oil, corn oil, and others used for deep frying. These oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which, when consumed in excess, throw off the body's natural balance and fuel chronic inflammation. And as we've already seen, inflammation is no friend to your muscles. When your body is constantly fighting off this type of low-grade irritation, your muscles don't get the chance to heal and grow. Add to that the trans fats found in some fried and packaged foods, and you've got a perfect storm. Trans fats don't just slow muscle repair. They actively interfere with muscle protein synthesis. That's like trying to build a house while someone's stealing your bricks. Linda was unknowingly eating these bricks thieves every time she popped a frozen snack into the oven or grabbed fries on the go. These foods also tend to be high in refined carbs and sodium, which we've already discussed. They spike your blood sugar, cause water retention, raise blood pressure, and contribute to fatigue. The result? Less stamina, slower recovery, and muscles that just can't keep up. So what did Linda do? We started small. First, she swapped her chips for a mix of raw almonds, walnuts, and air-popped popcorn tossed with olive oil and a pinch of sea salt. She began roasting sweet potatoes instead of buying frozen fries. For her Friday movie nights, she made veggie-loaded homemade pizza on whole grain flatbread instead of reaching for the frozen one. And the results? "I didn't realize how foggy I'd been feeling until it lifted," she told me. "Now I get up from the couch without groaning. My legs feel stronger. I even added a little dance to my morning walks." That's the power of reducing inflammatory foods. And no, it doesn't mean you can never have a burger or fries again, but it does mean being intentional. Choosing better oils like olive or avocado oil, baking instead of frying, and making your meals at home just a bit more often. And hey, if this part feels familiar, if you've ever leaned on frozen dinners or drive-through lunches more than you'd like to admit, just type 4 in the comments. You're not alone. We've all been there. What matters is where we go from here. Now, there's one more common culprit we haven't touched yet, and this one's sneaky, because many people see it as a way to unwind, to celebrate, or just relax at the end of the day. But what if I told you that this habit, even in small amounts, could quietly be stealing your strength? There's something about an evening drink that just feels familiar. Whether it's a glass of red wine with dinner, a cold beer on a sunny afternoon, or a cocktail shared with friends. Many of us grew up with the idea that a little alcohol is harmless, maybe even good for you in moderation. I remember chatting with Mary. You remember her from earlier. She once told me, "I've always had a glass of wine at night. It helps me relax. I sleep better. It's part of my rhythm." And I get it. It's not about overindulgence. It's about habit, ritual, and comfort. But here's the truth that most people don't see until the effects creep in. Even small amounts of alcohol, especially when consumed regularly, can slowly chip away at your muscle strength, your balance, and your body's ability to recover. Let's break this down. When you drink alcohol, your body has to pause everything else, digestion, nutrient absorption, protein synthesis, to process the alcohol first. Think of it as an emergency signal. Your liver treats alcohol as a toxin, so it jumps to the front of the line, leaving other essential processes waiting. One of those on-hold processes? Muscle repair. Every time you walk, climb stairs, or even stand up, your muscles undergo tiny micro-tears that need to be repaired in order to grow stronger. But when alcohol is in your system, the rebuilding slows down. Over time, This delay adds up, especially if your body is already fighting inflammation or dealing with age-related muscle loss. And then there's dehydration. Alcohol is a diuretic, which means it increases how often you urinate. And when your body loses fluid, your muscles, which are made up of around 75% water, become weaker, stiffer, and more prone to cramping. Have you ever woken up after a drink or two with sore legs, or that heavy, off feeling in your joints? That's dehydration at work. But maybe the most overlooked issue is how alcohol interferes with nutrient absorption. Vitamins and minerals like magnesium, B12, vitamin D, and zinc, all crucial for muscle function and nerve health, are less effectively absorbed in the presence of alcohol. So even if you're eating well, drinking can quietly undo a lot of that good effort. Now, I'm not here to tell you never to have a glass of wine again. Life is meant to be enjoyed. But I am here to help you make informed choices and to consider some simple swaps that support your health and still feel enjoyable. For Mary, that meant trading her nightly wine for a beautiful glass of sparkling water with a slice of orange and a few crushed mint leaves. She also tried herbal teas, especially chamomile and rooibos, which helped her relax without the side effects of alcohol. I still get my evening ritual, she said, but now I wake up feeling clearer and stronger. It's amazing how such a small change can ripple through your whole body. Better hydration, steadier energy, and more muscle support, all from switching your evening drink. If you've ever used alcohol to wind down at night and you're curious about healthier alternatives, type the number 5 in the comments. I'd love to know what's worked for you or what you're thinking about trying, because the goal here isn't perfection, it's progress. Step by step, meal by meal, we're building a stronger body. Not just for today, but for the long road ahead. So, let's take a deep breath and look at the path we've just walked together. 5 foods, 5 habits, each one so familiar, so woven into our routines, we barely notice them. A glass of juice in the morning, a couple slices of toast, a deli sandwich for lunch, a quick bag of chips, a glass of wine before bed. None of these seem extreme or dangerous. And that's exactly what makes them so powerful, quietly, gently, and over time, they chip away at the strength you've spent a lifetime building. But here's the good news. If these habits have the power to slowly take away your strength, then changing them has the power to bring that strength back. I want you to remember this. Small changes make big differences. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't have to throw out your favorite foods or feel guilty about past choices. This isn't about restriction. It's about awareness, about making choices that lift you up instead of hold you down, like Mary did with her morning juice, like Robert did with his sandwich, like Linda did with her snacks. These weren't radical overhauls. They were thoughtful tweaks, and each one led to a little more strength, a little more confidence, a little more freedom. So, ask yourself, which one of these habits feels most familiar to you? Is it the sweet drinks, the bread, the convenience meats or salty snacks? Or maybe it's that evening glass you look forward to. Wherever you are right now, take a moment to choose one thing to try differently this week. Just one. Maybe it's blending your fruit instead of juicing it, or picking up sprouted bread instead of white. Maybe it's trying grilled chicken for lunch, or making a fun, fizzy mocktail in the evening. Whatever you choose, make it yours. This isn't about being perfect. It's about moving forward. And if you're still not sure where to start, drop me a comment below. Just write the number of the habit that feels most relevant to you, 1 through 5, and I'll reply with a simple, practical tip to help you begin. That's what this community is for. You are not walking this path alone. Before we move on to the final part of our video, I want to take a moment to thank you, truly, for being here, for being curious, open, and brave enough to ask questions about your health. You're already ahead of the curve just by watching this. If this video has sparked something in you, even just a little, I'd love it if you gave a thumbs up and maybe even shared it with someone you care about. A sibling, a neighbor, a friend from your church or community center. Sometimes, one simple conversation can be the start of a life-changing shift. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Here on Vitagohealth, we talk every week about how to stay strong, mobile, independent, and full of energy, no matter your age. And I'd love for you to be part of that journey with us. Now, in our final section, I'm going to leave you with something even more powerful than facts and food swaps. A message of encouragement. Because your strength isn't just physical. It's emotional. It's mental. It's lifelong. Let's talk about how you can carry that strength into every day ahead. Let me tell you something I deeply believe, and I hope you'll carry it with you long after this video ends. Your age does not define your strength. Not the number on your birthday cake. Not the years since you retired. Not the labels people may try to put on you. What defines your strength is how you show up every day for yourself. It's in the choices you make, the kindness you give your body, and the belief that your best days are not behind you. They're still unfolding. I've seen it firsthand. In Mary, who thought she was slowing down simply because that's what happens after 70, but who found new energy just by rethinking her morning drink. In Robert, who started making his own lunch again and now walks around the block without needing to lean on anything. In Linda, who went from feeling foggy and stiff to dancing in her kitchen again, all by swapping chips for roasted veggies and homemade snacks. None of them made massive changes overnight. They didn't join a gym or follow a complicated diet. What they did was something far more powerful. They paid attention, and they gave themselves permission to start again. And so can you. If you're watching this and you've ever felt like your legs aren't as steady as they used to be, or you feel tired quicker than you used to, or even if you're just curious about what's possible, I want you to know, you're not stuck. Your body is listening. It's ready to respond. And even the smallest change, one better breakfast, one smarter swap, one more glass of water, it all adds up. So here's my invitation to you. Choose one small promise to yourself today. Not a resolution, not a big goal, just a promise. Maybe it's to stand up and stretch every hour. Maybe it's to drink a glass of water before your coffee. Maybe it's to go for a walk after dinner instead of turning on the TV right away. Or maybe it's just to believe that your strength still matters, because it does. And when you make that promise, come back here and tell me about it. Type it in the comments. Let this be a place where we cheer each other on, where we don't talk about aging as a loss, but as a new chapter of growth, wisdom, and power. Because here at Vitagohealth, we're not just about facts and food. We're about helping you build a life that feels good in your body, in your heart, and in your spirit. So if you found value in this video, if something clicked, or sparked a thought, or gave you a new idea, please give it a like, hit subscribe, and share it with someone else who deserves to feel strong and capable at any age. And if it's your birthday this month, or even if it's not, I want to wish you something very special. Happy birthday to you at every age, to the strength you still have, to the joy still waiting, to the new habits, the brighter mornings, and the steady legs that carry you wherever you choose to go. Until next time, stay strong, stay kind to yourself, and remember, every step forward counts, and I'm cheering you on with every one.